Hi there, this is a very special Cult of Cinema request. I am Aaron and let there be light. Anyway, tonight we are talking superhero films. This actually is a request video by a supporter who actually bought a t-shirt during my first week of merch, and basically one of the caveats that I put out at the time was that when they did, they could request a specific video, and I would try to put a unique spin on the video that they requested. Now, what was requested was my superhero collection of films. So my thoughts on that. It took me a while to get to it and get it done in the way that I wanted to. So I chose to focus on the 4K superhero collection that I have. So all the superhero films I've got in 4K. Now, even if you're not a superhero fan, this is going to be hopefully a bit fun for you because why did I do it tonight and why did I decide to do it like this? Well, I'll go over the films. I'll give you like a kind of a cursory review, nothing really in depth, but I'm also going to answer another question. I was speaking with a good friend of mine tonight who they announced that Blue Underground announced that they were doing another film, and that was going to be Two Evil Eyes, and it's going to be the 4K release. And he was like, rightfully in a way, upset that basically like Blue Underground are doing all these 4K releases, but they're not really doing anything new, and he's not a 4K adapter. So it's an understandable bit of frustration. So what I figured I could do within this video is I could show you the releases, talk about them a little bit, and give you my thoughts on why I adapted to 4K and why I think Blue Underground is doing things the way that they're doing them. So hopefully, Chris, if you're out there, you're going to like this because I specifically waited till I could do something unique with this one here. I am wearing a new t-shirt tonight, one that I actually picked up last week for this video, and this is the Punisher, and I'm pretty sure this is the Marvel Knights series, so it's kind of the more adult series for the Punisher. So let's start off with the Marvel first, in no particular order. I'm not going to do them in any particular order, but some of these are not going to be open because I saw most of these movies like in the old days in the theater, and some I've watched a few times. Other ones, well, I'll let you know as I go through. So first off is Avengers Infinity War. This is actually a really nice 4K release. Some of the Marvel movies are hit or miss when it comes to some of the sound quality. Certain of the early ones had kind of lower sound on them. I found they had to kind of jack up the sound quite a bit, but actually this one does. They did a great job with this one. It's a fantastic film, and the neat thing is that Thanos could have been this like just evil character, and people were so hyped for Thanos, he really didn't have to do much, but they didn't go that way, and I like that. And they followed that up with Endgame. Endgame, you can see it's not even open yet because I saw this one in theater, and really, really enjoyed it. I haven't got around to watching these again. This one I have actually, but I haven't got around to rewatching this one or checking out special features on these, which I plan to do a marathon of sometime in the near future. After I get through the Marvel portion of it, then I will talk to you guys again about the Blue Underground. See where we're going with this? My favorite of the Thor films is by far and large Thor Ragnarok. I think this was the best one done. It's the closest we're probably ever going to get to like a World War Hulk film. So I like that as well because you get the kind of the Planet Hulk version of Hulk on here, and it's really well done. We get to see Valkyrie come into it. This is probably the best. By far and large, this is the best Thor film. Not even close. Taika Waititi, amazing. Now, the only movie that I saw, superhero film, of the Marvel MCU that I saw more than once in the theater because I liked it that much. Now, preface, I am a huge fan of the character. I'm a huge fan of the cosmic adventures, superhero, as well as it's weird. I like the cosmic stuff. I like the kind of like the gritty stuff. So, needless to say, this one was a favorite of mine, and this was Captain Marvel. I actually really like Brie Larson. I think that this is a solid film overall. There's certain things I think that could be better, but still, this is one of my faves when it comes to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that's me. Remember, all these opinions are subjective, and they're my opinions. So if yours are different, that's okay. Make your own video. Okay, all right. Black Panther again. Yeah, rest in peace, man. Rest in peace. Chadwick Boseman, like, epitomized this character. He is amazing in this here, and you know what? So is Michael B. Jordan. You've got a equally compelling bad guy as you do a good guy. The key to playing a good bad guy, and this is something that you learn when you're honing your craft in acting, is not to pantomime it so much. And if you're gonna pantomime, if you're gonna go over the top, then when you're playing the character, you can't think of yourself as the bad guy. You have to believe in your motivation, or you're going to come off as, just playing a mustache twirling type of bad guy. So Michael B. Jordan definitely takes that to heart when he says, he basically says, you know what, I am going to play this character with conviction. Thanos was the same way. When you play a character villain with conviction, then you get a better film, because you got a better villain, and a hero is only as good as their villain. Which would probably be my only complaint with Captain Marvel, to be honest with you. So the sequel to Ant-Man is Ant-Man and the Wasp. I do have Ant-Man here somewhere as well, but I can't seem to find it right now. But or I think I got it. Maybe I don't. Maybe I only saw it in theater. But actually, I did enjoy this one. It's not the best out of the Marvel films. It's a fun, light watch, but it's not something you're going to get like deep and dark over. Although I can't find part 1. It's downstairs somewhere. I do have it. This is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I also have Volume 1, and I also have the Steelbook of Volume 1 as well, the hard-to-find Steelbook. But I'm only showing 4K tonight. So this is Volume 2. I actually really like this. We get Kurt Russell in here as Ego, the basically the living planet, the father of Star-Lord. And of course, recently we got Wyatt Russell in Falcon Winter Soldier, and both of those play really, really good bad guys. And both of them have something to do with Ego. Next up is Spider-Man Homecoming. And I really dug this film. Is this my favorite Spider-Man film? It's not my favorite Spider-Man film, actually. I do really think that Tom Holland gets that perfect blend between a really good Peter Parker and a really good Spider-Man. Something that was missing and lacking in the other films. I still personally think that Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2 is the best Spider-Man film that's been made, but I think that Tom Holland is the best actor that's ever donned the tights and played Spider-Man and played Peter Parker. And sometimes you can play one or the other. Andrew Garfield made a great Spider-Man, but not a great Peter Parker. Tobey Maguire made a great Peter Parker, but not the greatest Spider-Man. But here you get a mixture of both. There is a really good villain in here with the Vulture, but I don't think we see enough of him. However, when we do see him, it makes an impact. And the ending sequence on here, sequence on the car ride, is really, really good. It's a piece of cinema you're going to remember. Well, I'm just getting to the Blue Underground thing. Next up is one that I did see at my local drive-in, so this one hasn't been opened yet, and that is Venom with Tom Hardy. Of course, they're making the Carnage sequel to this now, and I'm actually kind of excited about that. Is this cheesy? Yes. Could they have done probably a lot more of this? There's a lot of flaws in Venom, but that being said, I had a lot of fun with this movie. A lot more fun than I thought I was going to have. The one thing that was controversial that was a plus for me, and I hope they don't retrograde it. We're going to go back on it, basically, retrograde. I hope they don't go back on it, is that Venom's origin is divorced from Spider-Man. And I am so glad that that's a thing, because I want Venom to be able to kind of work in his own. I know they're going to eventually put them together, but I want Venom to do his own, be able to do his own thing, and build his own rogues gallery and have fun with it. Last but not least, and the reason this one's not open, and I did see this one in theater as well, is because I'm waiting for the better edition actually. So this is Logan. I bought this one at Best Buy during the Black Friday sale a couple years ago, and I thought this was a 2 disc edition. I got it home. I realized that the Noir edition wasn't on here. There was a 2 disc edition, all right. It was a 4K and Blu-ray, but there's an edition that has a black and white version of Logan called Logan Noir, and I really, really want that, and that's why that's not open. That's why I haven't been able to watch Logan again. All right, so Blue Underground is putting out another 4K, and the question comes out: why is Blue Underground putting out 4K releases and not looking to, as far as we know, uh, acquire newer films or put out something that is different? Well, William Lustig did a big video, sorry, a big interview a while back talking about all the 4K releases and the fact that he was really enamored with 4K. And one of the reasons behind that, one of the big reasons behind that is simply this: is that as a filmmaker, Lustig wants to be able to present films that he loves and films that he has the rights to, and long-term rights, not just small rights, because it takes a bit of money to encode, do a 4K encode. So what looks to be happening right now is there's a lot of companies that are selling their films out, film rights out to companies like boutique companies and labels, but for more limited amounts of time and for larger cost. And that's because they can say, well, we can give you these here, or we can just put them on a streaming service, or we can just wait down the road. So it backs some companies into the corner and makes them have to spend a bit more. So you gotta really make sure that you're getting your money's worth when it comes to the stuff that you're buying. Now Lustig has decided to take the catalog that he's got and he has good rights to, and basically start working on those. Now, why specifically, aside from like cost, is this a good thing for Lustig to do? Why would it? Well, Lustig is a filmmaker too. So this is not just a guy that's a businessman. This is a guy that is that makes films, that made the Maniac Cop franchise, that did Uncle Sam, that did, of course, Maniac. He is a filmmaker at heart. And what does a filmmaker want to do? He wants to give you the best version of his film as he possibly can. And as a filmmaker that's become somebody that is working and giving you basically releases of other filmmakers with 4K, he has the ability, and you can see by the quality of what they're doing, because it is astounding. Just check out some of their 4K stuff. Even an upgrade from their 4K scans, Blu-ray scans, and then go to 4K. It's quite an upgrade. That's because 4K is meant to give you. It's not meant to be like polished or DNR'd or anything like that. That's bad 4K. What it's meant to do is give you as close to a theatrical experience as you can get, and that doesn't just mean the picture. That means the sound, just overall a bona fide, like real kind of gritty experience. So if this is a film that's got that's got a bit of that if there's flaws with the film, they'll do the best to get them out, but you'll see them where they're meant to be seen. You'll see the film's color grade in the color that it is meant to be shown, and you will get to hear films in a way that you probably haven't heard them unless you went to a theater and watched these films back in the day. And I think that's what Lustig is doing. Is he is a filmmaker that is in love with filmmaking and in love with cinema itself. So what does that mean? That means he's going to, instead of doing what a lot of people would do and just putting out a sloppy code, he's going to take as much time as he can, because for Lustig and Blue Underground, these weren't just films that he bought because I think this film is going to be profitable. When Blue Underground started, it came up after Lustig's time with Anchor Bay, And the films, a lot of the films that Lustig took on were films that meant something to him. So when you're seeing things like Final Countdown, Dead and Buried, Daughters of Darkness, those are films that Lustig loves. So it makes sense for the filmmaker, and as a collector himself too, to want to have it as close to it would be when you see it in cinema. There you go. Wow, what a cough. I do apologize. I wish I was on my StreamYard. I could mute it. Anywho, let's get a drink, and then I'll continue. I'll be right back. I do this in my live videos, so don't worry. The worst part about doing this is I just brush my teeth. It's probably new electric toothbrush. Alright, that did not taste good. But hopefully it'll get a tickle in my throat. DC. So Best Buy put out this set, and we actually had some of these films already on Blu-ray, but we were just getting in 4K, and we were grabbing up everything that Best Buy had in 4K for a decent price that we loved. And this is the DC set right here. Wonder Woman, Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, and Suicide Squad. Not in that particular order that they come out in. And let me just grab something here so that we can actually talk about... hopefully you can hear me. Because usually... and I dropped something. So... I know I could probably edit this out and be all fancy and put in some stuff here, but I'm not going to. I'm going to do this as raw and as like it was live as possible. Because I do like that Hunter S. Thompson Gonzo S aspect to my videos. People often ask me why I do my videos the way that I do them. That's one of the reasons. I was going to be a journalist, and one of my idols was Hunter S. Thompson. So I like to, quote unquote, keep things as real as possible. So you see me flossing all channel and everything, but I peel back the curtain sometimes, and I try to do things different and give my unique take on it. Hopefully you like that. All right, so Man of Steel. I saw this in theater and really, really enjoyed it. I do have the Target particular of this as well, but I definitely want to have the 4K of this one. This actually, it's a great 4K, nearly 4 hours of special features. I have mixed feelings on this one. I loved this movie when it first came out. I found that the more that I watch it, though, the less it really sticks with me as being like a great Superman film. My favorite Superman film is still Superman 2 with Christopher Reeve. Next up is Batman v Superman with Wonder Woman and cameos from Aquaman and Cyborg and The Flash and Lex Luthor and Dupe. There's too much in this film. This could have been done over a couple films. It really could have been. The Death of Superman should have been its own film. Doomsday was wasted here. I do love the fight sequence in this film, and I love Ben Affleck's Batman. You start to see but Gadot steals the show. She just epitomizes Wonder Woman for this era. And we followed up with Wonder Woman, and Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman is an amazing film. I don't think there's anybody that actually doesn't like this one. It is a great, great film. Less content than the other two, but still, really great movie. I love this one. And the next one I kind of hate, which is weird because I'm very, very excited about the sequel, sort of, this movie. No, well, not sequel. I'm not sure if it's a sequel, remake, reboot, whatever they're doing. We'll say sequel. This is the Suicide Squad. I was not a fan of this film, and because the Joker isn't good, and the makeup, the style of it isn't very well done, because basically we get this character that probably should have been, much as I hate the character, should have done it more. I should have been more focused on, but he's not. Instead, we get the typical villain. We get the Enchantress with another beam up in the sky, and minions that you forget after probably before you finish the film, and there you go. So next up is one that is not one of those, and actually is an amazing Batman film called the Lego Batman Movie. Actually, I really love this one. Underrated. If you haven't seen this because it says Lego on it, check it out. It's really, really good. My nose is slightly running. Hold on a second. This is becoming a weirder video than I expected, but I'm not starting over. I'm determined to get this done. Forge on through. Man, I'll be right back. All right. Yeah, you can see the t-shirt better. Here we go. You never know what you're going to get, right? Justice League. This is a crappy version. This is the Joss Whedon version. It's not very good. I really don't have much more to say about that. I guess I'll save these two to last. Next up is one of the first things I bought. When we got a 4K player, we were both big Christopher Nolan fans. So I rag on these films a lot. I really do. And it's because as much as I want to love these films, and I do love certain things about these films, there's two glaring faults in the Batman Dark Knight trilogy for me. And that is, he gets Gotham completely wrong, and he just makes it like circa noir Chicago. And it doesn't play into what Gotham being the type of city that's going to like birth these beasts, this insanity. And I think Christian Bale is extremely miscast. But everything else about these films are fantastic. The rest of basically the other set design is really good. Batman Begins has a better Gotham than it does in the other two films. The story structure really breaks in the third film, but they're still fun, and I really enjoy these films. And Christopher Nolan is definitely a one of these kind of like auteur filmmakers, and I really enjoy his films. I love Tenet. I like Inception. Inception is probably my favorite Christopher Nolan film, which I know is pretty much a standard thing for a lot of people. So, but I really did enjoy Batman Begins. Thought this was a really good start to the franchise. Henry Deckard was obvious. That was an obvious switch for anybody that's ever read a comic book, but enjoyed that. Dark Knight, I wasn't sure if I was going to enjoy it because first time I saw this, I was like, that's not my Joker. That's not the way I want the Joker to be. I had a certain image of the Joker, but Heath Ledger was incredible in this film. Aaron Eckhart is often an unsung part of this cast, and he does amazing. I think Maggie Gyllenhaal does a great job picking up from Katie Holmes, and I really liked her portrayal of the character as well. And it's a really good film. I had fun with this one in the theater, but I'm not going to lie to you, things kind of fall apart here. Batman has pretty much given up being Batman. He hasn't been Batman very long. Kind of a lazy Batman. What do you think about it? Catwoman in Anne Hathaway, she's good, but she's a bit wasted. I would like to see more of her. Bane starts out really good, and because of a twist that's done late in the film, it pretty much kind of kills a lot of the of Bane's characterization within the film itself. But that being said, it is still a great trilogy by an amazing filmmaker. And I'll be honest with you, even though I still think that Christian Bale is kind of miscast in the role, every time I watch it, I tend to find that I like it just a little bit more. So I got a feeling that a lot of it has to do with nostalgia glasses and eventually I'll be on that Christopher Nolan Batman train along with everybody else. But my favorite Batman, well, he's right here. That is Michael Keaton. Because Michael Keaton is adept at playing Batman and Bruce Wayne. When you see Michael Keaton's portrayal of Bruce Wayne, you can both see kind of like the rich debutante type character, but you can see the haunting kind of like darkness beneath his eyes. When you see Michael Keaton here, you say, yes, I actually believe this guy would put on the bat suit and go out in the night and beat up criminals. He's got this kind of weird type of quirkiness to him that's brought out even more by Tim Burton. And Michael Keaton is one of those actors that's very subtle. He doesn't have to go over the top. He doesn't Christian Bale. He doesn't have to type of thing. He's Batman, and he's tormented and he's twisted, and that's scary enough. And he has an amazing like Joker to go against him. This is my Joker right here. Well, Mark Hamill is my animated Joker, but this is my live action Joker right here. Jack Nicholson was made to play this role, and some people say, well, it's just Jack Nicholson playing Jack Nicholson. Well, I'm sorry if maybe you're not old enough to realize what a nuanced actor Jack Nicholson is, but he is. Now that's wrong. Now, everybody has their own opinion, and this is a really good role. You got blah blah. I'm getting it up wrong. So anyway, Jack Palance is in this film as well. I think Jerry Hall's in this one. Kim Basinger, Robert Wall. I was really surprised they didn't bring Robert Wall back for another film, because he was really good. Now, next one is Batman Returns, and I like this one just as much, and in some ways a little bit better than Batman. But I'll still stick with Batman as my favorite because I like those crazy Prince songs, and I'm a weird person. But Batman Returns is definitely more adult turn for the Bat. Not so much about selling toys in this one as it is like violence and sex, a mixture of violence and sex and neuroses. And it's just such a weird film. In the first one, Tim Burton is definitely making an out-and-out Batman film with his flair. In Batman Returns, he's making a Tim Burton film that just happens to have Batman characters in it. And I find that glorious. Now, after those two films, there was supposed to be a third. But they decided to go with a different filmmaker. Someone that was going to listen to the studio a bit more. Someone that would take it in the direction of, we want to sell some toys, we want to sell some cereal. So they brought in Joel Schumacher. Now, for those that don't think Joel Schumacher could have done a dark version of Batman, go watch 8mm. And you realize Schumacher's can definitely be a dark director, but when he saw the comics, he thought about the flasher stuff, the color stuff. Joel Schumacher is a very visual director, and he really, comics are sometimes in the old days we used to call it the four colors, right? The four color books. So he brings the colors forward in these, and this is Batman Forever. Now this actually has Val Kilmer taking over the role of Batman because Michael Keaton wouldn't come back without Tim Burton. And Val Kilmer does actually a really good job in this role. Nicole Kidman is good as Chase Meridian, but let's be honest, it's just another blonde to put in there for Batman to have as a love interest. Surprisingly, Jim Carrey is incredibly good, over the top, but still surprisingly dark. So shades of the Cable Guy, but turned up to the nth degree. Whereas Tommy Lee Jones seems like he's acting in a different movie than everybody else, and does not come across as the Two-Face that we wanted and we were kind of waiting for with Billy Dee Williams, who played Harvey Dent in the first film. And then we get to this one, Batman and Robin. This movie is not good. It is, however, beautiful. It is a beautiful film. Its set design is gorgeous, and it is stunning. The colors in this film are stunning. There are things that I do like about this film. George Clooney looks like a good Batman. George Clooney was kind of like walking through this role. He's getting a check and he's going through this role. I Arnold Schwarzenegger's okay. But I really did like Uma Thurman. I thought she did a good job. She has a Mae West type character with her Poison Ivy portrayal. Jeep Swanson gets a rest in peace, man. Gets a selfless role, kind of like for Bane, who's pretty much wasted. Bane's always been wasted in these films. And of course, Alicia Silverstone, who is Alfred's niece, who comes back from England with absolutely no accent. Not quite sure how that happened. Now, I told you, why did I adapt to 4K? Why was this important to me? And why is getting some of these films important to me? I got two more films I'll show you. And they're Marvel films. I let them last for a reason. If the shirt didn't give it away, I'm a fan of this character. This is the Punisher. This is the one with Thomas Jane, who's also a huge Punisher fan, and John Travolta. This gets ragged on a lot nowadays, but when this came out, a lot of people really love this film, me included. I like this film a lot. I also really enjoyed Warzone with Ray Stevens as the Punisher. What I liked less about this one is I found that, and he's a great actor too. I'm going to get the name right because it's been a while. Dominic West, there we go. Dominic West's portrayal of Jigsaw is a bit too camp for me for the film, but Ray Stevens is on point as a Punisher. Now, John Bernthal, from the Netflix Punisher series, that is the Punisher to me. That is exactly what I want the Punisher to be. But I love both of these films, and I've watched them. As you can see, they're both open up. I watched both these several times. I just love the Punisher. It's one of my favorite characters. And I think so far it's been pretty well in film. I have yet to get the Umbrella Blu-ray of the Punisher. I've been holding out, hoping that we're going to get like a 4K of the Dolph Lundgren one, but it's highly unlikely. Which is a shame because it has its own appeal and charm to it. I would also love to have the Netflix series all on 4K. I would definitely buy every single one of those. But I got a feeling that's going to take a while. Anywho, why did I adapt to 4K? Why did it become a thing for me? Pretty much the same reason I did for Lustig. I love films. It is cinema. The physical, the visual media is kind of, if this channel hasn't given it away yet, it's my life. It's what I do. I don't just collect films, own films, have films in a library. For me, I like to watch films. I like to study films. And sometimes I like to study them so much that it can take away from me doing the basic enjoyment and watching of the films. So I got to kind of take that part of me that likes to be analytical sometimes away just so I can sit back and enjoy a film. And if you guys watch my channel, you know I get a lot of cheesy, insane films. And I can watch a Fast and the Furious movie much in the same way that I can sit down and watch Citizen Kane just for pure enjoyment. But I can also take both of those films and look at them in a more analytical way. That's weird because I'm a weirdo, because I'm strange like that. Don't recommend it. Just enjoy your films. But that's what I do. So when I decided that I wanted to really go in and really, really kind of study film and anime filmmaking too, because who knows? Maybe one of these days I'll get that chance, right? I wanted to see films when I couldn't see them in the theater in the same way that I would if they were presented in the theater. I wanted to be able to look at them warts and all. So without having a huge screen and a projector and copies of the original camera negatives of each of these films, the best that I could do was to get a 4K system and get a decent sound system and watch the films like that. And slowly over time, upgrade to a larger TV, a better sound system, and watch the films for enjoyment and watch the film for study purposes as well. That's what 4K was for me. It wasn't just because I wanted to play my video games, or because that nature documentary or that sports event is going to be a little bit better. But for me personally, it was because I wanted to see the films hear the films much in the same way that you would see and hear them in the theater. Now, every 4K encode is definitely not going to give you that. But when it's done well, here's looking at you, New York Ripper, Maniac, Zombie, anything but that Blue Underground put out, then yes, you are going to get that feel of watching and hearing it the same as you would if you had seen it in the theater back in the day. And I enjoy that. So there you go. Hopefully this was a little bit of something for everybody. I got my 4K superhero collection shown here. We talked a little bit about each one of these films. We talked about 4K. We talked about why I think Blue Underground is going the 4K route of their releases as opposed to putting out new releases. And we talked about why I personally adapted into 4K myself. So there you go. This could have been a regular collection video. We also got me going off a couple times because I was choking and I had to sneeze. And there you go. Realism in my videos. I am Aaron. I am feeling really kind of under the weather right now. I'm hoping to make a video tomorrow, so let's hope that works out. But Chris, you requested it. Hopefully I did it right for you and gave you just a little bit more as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a crystal clear, wonderful Atmos sound 4K type of day, and I'll see you next time right here in the Call to Cinema.